There we go. The recording's on for all our friends in our future and their present moment. So, HJ and everybody who's tuning in the recording of this masterclass today, a warm welcome to you all. And congratulations, I guess, for everybody who's watching the recordings. You've probably made it through all the previous 5 masterclasses and you ended up here. And for you, HJ, it's beautiful that you're tuning in. I know that you're already checking out the recordings of the first and the second masterclass at this moment in time. So later on, you'll be through all of them, right? So today's topic is self-love and self-love commitments. And the reason why I put this at the end of our series here, of our 6 masterclass series, is very simple. Because today, I'm going to make commitments with you. We're going to make commitments together, right? And a commitment, I also call it getting married to a vision or an idea. And what I want to establish today, like my intention today with us, is that we generate a deeper clarity and that we can actually voice how we intend to love ourselves, right? How do we translate self-love into actual practice, into actual action? So what awaits you in this masterclass? First, I want to take a minute to ask everybody to reflect on the previous 5 masterclasses. So what we've had until this moment is we kick things off with the Elevated Activism masterclass, which I know you've watched, AJ. And then we had the Meditation masterclass, followed by the Overcome Procrastination one. Then the Breathwork masterclass. Yesterday night in my time zone, I hosted the Ecstatic Dance masterclass, which the recording is pretty short because I didn't record how we were all dancing just for the sake of, yeah, you don't need to see me dance 75 minutes because when you practice ecstatic dance, you have to dance yourself and move yourself, right? So I just made a little instruction video on what ecstatic dance is, where it's coming from, how I got into it, and what expects you if you embark on this kind of practice. And this brings us today to self-love commitments. Now, I'll be talking a little bit about self-love and what self-love means to me. And after that, I will invite you, HJ, in our room today and everybody in the recording to take out your journal or your notebook. And we'll do a little 5-minute journaling practice together where I'll ask a question and you'll get to answer this question for yourself inside of your journal. And at the end of this, I'll bring a closure to our beautiful series of master classes here, and I'll give you a deeper introduction into my program, which means that if you like what we've been doing over these 6 master classes, and if you want to dive deeper into these topics, because what we've done here is just, it's just kind of the surface of all the teachings that I can provide people with and that I teach my coaching clients. So if you would want more of that, more community, more master classes, more lessons, and also more live calls, then that group coaching program will be the possibility to do that. So that's what awaits us today, right, AJ? So self-love, right? I want to make the difference, and I want to distinguish that there's 2 ways of identifying self-love, okay? Self-love for oneself, but there's also the self-love for everything around us. And here's why I believe self-love is not an egocentric practice, but actually an expansive practice. I very often speak the sentence in my coaching, you got to fill your own cup before you fill somebody else's. If you're watching RuPaul's Drag Race, he says, how the hell can you love somebody else if you don't love love yourself? Like that's in his words. In my words is we have to fill our own cups in order to start filling other people's and other beings' cups as well. Now, here's the reason why. I see a lot of people out there, and I'm also talking a bit about my past self, okay? So in my past self, I was a people pleaser. I was always very focused on helping others, serving others, providing my energy and time to others. And most of these times, I wasn't even in a good space myself. As you've learned in the previous master classes, I have been in depressions. I have lived through suicidal episodes in my life. I know what it's like to be in a space where you don't see any purpose in being here. Okay. So coming from that, I really had to understand that helping people from a place where I'm not okay myself is a different quality than helping others, people, beings, animals, the planet, from coming from a space of fullness, of wholeness, right? The quality of attention, the quality of presence, and also the quality of love that we can provide others around us with is incomparable to the one that when we are not okay within ourselves. And that's why I believe self-love is such an important topic. And I made it the last topic of our masterclass series here, right? So now that you understand a little bit better where I'm coming from with self-love, I would love to just go on a little open chat with you, everybody who's watching the recordings. When you think of self-love, just that word, what kind of other words come up in your mind? And for you, HJ, feel free to either speak them into the space, unmute yourself, or you can write them in the comment section and I'll read them out for you, whatever feels comfortable for you. What comes to mind when you hear self-love? Yeah, type. Type in that chat box, type in that comment section. Self-love. Obviously, there are certain things that we talked about in the previous master classes. HJ says, making time for ourselves, creating time for ourselves. Yes. Creating a platform, creating a time frame where we can focus on ourselves. Because I know that we didn't learn that at school. And I know that we are often not conditioned to look inwards. Like we're often not conditioned to actually feel what's going on. Like when you're eating something, do you really take a moment to feel how that lands in your stomach, how that digests, how that goes through your body? Or is this just such a natural process of that you've gotten used to, you know? So yeah, very good one. Making time for ourselves. I'm curious to read everybody else's comments on this. Also being grateful for what we have and what we are, HJ says. Yeah. Being grateful for what we have and what we are. Grateful, gratitude. Gratitude is a practice, by the way. I often meet people that say, I find it really hard to be grateful for things because the world is in a shitty place, you know? Not many vegans here. The ecosystem is falling apart. The climate change is happening. A lot of people find it hard to find gratitude. So gratitude is actually a practice that comes in when we deepen into, let's say, meditation or breath work, as you've learned in these previous master classes, a bit about those. So gratitude also is something that we can get better at if we focus on it, if we put our attention towards it, and if we make sure that we commit to the practice of gratitude. Because the practice of gratitude and the practice of self-love, like the self-love practice, it's kind of like an umbrella term. Everything that's happening under this umbrella of self-love is individual for each and every one of us. That's why I'm teaching like this whole variety of tools and skills which can be considered self-love practices, so that for everybody there is something, or most of the times obviously multiple things that work, that make us feel grateful for what we have and what we are. Good input, HJ. Thank you. So yeah, self-love is many things. It's many things except for egocentric. And I already told you why. Now, what I also often see is when people start to embark on this journey of self-love, then obviously you're starting to blossom like a flower. If you're taking the right steps that are meant for you to take, if you're starting to commit yourself to growing and generating a sense of loving yourself, your physical body, your mental body, your emotional body, and if you want to, your spiritual body as well, right? So we're talking about these four bodies usually: the physical one, the mental one, the emotional one, and the spiritual body. If you're starting to nourish these bodies, this sense of loving yourself will grow. And it doesn't matter if your body is in a shape you think it needs to be in. That doesn't matter. It's not the goal to change how you are. It's actually the goal to change how you feel about yourself, right? And that's possible regardless in what physical shape you are in. It's even possible regardless what emotional shape you're in. You can learn to love yourself 110% if you're in a depressed state, and then you love yourself through it. And then you notice, oh, the depression starts releasing itself faster. These feelings start resolving themselves faster. Because believe me, if you have this full cup of cacao, which is the juice of love. Let's say you have this full cup of love, right? And you make sure that every day you're just filling a little bit by, because every day some things in your life happen that makes you need to take a sip of this love energy for yourself or for others, or you're spilling it into somebody else's cup. If you're making sure to every day commit to something or multiple things that fill that cup up a bit, you're ready for the world. You're ready for the challenges that come ahead. You're not going to get knocked down into a suicidal episode because XYZ happened anymore, because you've got enough of these resources here. And the same counts for us as vegans and as activists. When we are facing a challenging debate or a challenging online comment section fight, instead of feeling low for hours or even days after that discussion, when we have enough of these self-love resources to find this balance again during the debate and after the debate, imagine how many more debates your ass can handle, right? How many more discussions without you falling down into an emotional shit show you can handle. And that's how you can elevate your impact. We talked about that in the first masterclass, didn't we? Elevated activism, right? Being in it for the long run versus burning out as an activist. And self-love can give us that resource, right? Now, there's a really fun thing that has happened as I introduced myself in the first masterclass of these 6 masterclass series. I said people started coming to me at some point and asking me so many questions because they noticed that I have a very sparkly, a very alive, a very loving energy at some point. That was when I started getting into self-love and discovering these practices and hiring mentors and learning from them and integrating self-love routines into my daily life. And then people noticed that and they came to me and they asked me, what is it that you do? Why is this happening? I am not okay. How come you're always okay? You always seem to be okay. And I said, well, watch my masterclasses. No, I couldn't say that back then, but I had to find a solution. I had to find a way to teach that or to gift people with that information. And obviously I had to figure out what the hell it was that I was doing myself anyway. So I had to do that. And what happened there is my cup of self-love was overflowing. It was just so full, it was overflowing. And people would receive these like overflowing waves. Let's keep the metaphor here. Like they would drink that cacao that would like drip over my cup here. They would take some sips of it. They would get high off of it. They would get high of my energy. When I go to an ecstatic dance party, everybody flips out if they dance with me because I'm just so in a sparkly mood. And then I thought, actually, I don't just want to spill it everywhere. I don't want to spill this beautiful energy everywhere. I want to channel it to the people, to the places that I truly care for. Obviously, I could just gift it to everybody, but I thought it would be really nice to actually choose in which other cup I would spill some of my cacao. Who would I share my cacao with? What would I share my cacao with? And that also led me to the decision to obviously work with fellow vegans, with my own community, with fellow activists, right? People that are actively doing something every single day. They're not eating animal products, for the first, and there's many more things that we do. HJ, tomorrow you're going to a sanctuary, you're going to support that sanctuary. There's many more things that we do that I think needs to be cherished and nourished. And so when we fill our cups, at some point we're going to hit that spot of like, I'm really, really okay. I'm really, really okay. So where am I going to put my energy into now? Right? That doesn't mean that you always have to fill your cup up until the fullest before you do something for someone else. That doesn't mean like that. I'm just saying that once you generate a level of resources that are massive, you can really choose to channel that into the right places, and with that, even more elevate the impact you're having in this world as a vegan and as an activist and as whatever else you identify yourself active for, as a queer, as a race justice activist, whatever it is, right? So I think all of this makes sense so far. Give me a little note, HJ, in the comments. Say, yep, got it, or it makes sense to me. If all of this makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know. And for everybody who's watching the recording as well, put it in the comments down below. I'm uploading all these recordings, as you've seen, either through my Facebook group or to my YouTube channel or in the login area of my website. And all of these platforms have a comment section. So don't be shy, comment, let me know. I'll read those comments, you know. Yes, it does, you say, HJ. Thank you so much. All right. So let's move into the next step of this masterclass, which is an interactive one. I invite you to bring out your journal or your notebook. If you don't have that, bring out a blank page of paper. You know, in these masterclass series, I haven't had a journaling masterclass, but inside of my group coaching program, I have a whole module on journaling where I teach like different journaling techniques and stuff. So if you don't have a journal yet, that's okay. If you have, amazing, use it, bring it out. HA says, it's been spot on, especially when you mentioned about people pleasing, but I have been there. I could relate to it as well. Thanks for addressing this. Yeah, thank you for speaking that. I know that a lot of us, especially vegans, because we tend to outgive ourselves or to overgive ourselves to the bigger cause of animal rights, which is amazing, but aesthetic can burn us out as well. And often we also come from this background of being a people pleaser. And what the people pleaser does, he creates an image of self, or you see yourself as a better person by helping others, right? But the people pleaser forgets often that the quality of support, guidance, or help that we give others is linked to how we feel on the inside and how much resources we have. So would you rather give a half-ass quality of attention to something really important? Or would you rather make sure that you can give from a full-hearted place, right? And I think that when we see it from that point of view, people pleasing becomes something really beautiful, because we're coming from a place where we have pleased ourselves into a state of fullness. And if we haven't done that yet, we'd rather do that first. Because who are you spending most of your time with in your life? Who are you hanging out with most of the days, minutes, and hours of your time? You. You're with you 24/7. So make sure that that relationship is a great one, and then go and nourish those other relationships from that place. All right. So you've got your journal ready, I guess, or your notebook ready. And what we're going to do for the next 5 minutes, very simple thing. And I'm going to time it. So for everybody who's watching the recording, you got your journal, HJ, beautiful. Everybody who's watching the recording, I will time it. So you can stop the recording, or actually just let it running and, you know, act as if this was live for everybody in the recording. For you and me, HJ, I'm going to do the practice with you, because I preach what I teach. I practice what I preach. That's the right way. I really love doing my own practices. And that's also where they're coming from. They're coming from years and years of practicing what I teach and knowing what they can do for me, right? So the question that I invite you to ask yourself on the new blank page of your journal is a super simple question. It's super simple, but it's really, really powerful. The question is, if I could be my ideal lover or partner, if I would be my ideal lover or partner or husband or wife, whatever you want to call it, just your significant other. What would I gift myself with? If I'd be my ideal lover or partner, what would I gift myself with? Now, that's the question that you're writing down at the top of your journal, new page. And then you just keep going for 5 minutes with I'd gift myself with dot, dot, dot. I'd gift myself with XYZ. I'd gift myself with this and that. And we're just going to keep going for 5 minutes because this is going to create clarity for what loving yourself looks like for you personally. Okay. Just imagine like your significant other, you'd be that person. What would you want to expect from them? Or what would you love to receive from them? Right? Make sense? You got it? Let me know. Give me an okay in the chat, HJ, and everybody in the comments. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. Everybody in the comments, everybody in the recording. Good. Makes sense. All right. Let's do this. Here we go. For y'all in the recording, I'll be linking some cute background piano music for you. So everybody who likes to listen to music whilst you journal, you can use that background music. HJ, feel free to play some music in the background. 5 minutes. All right. Finish the sentence that you're currently writing. And HJ, if you feel like it, if you feel like sharing, please feel free to speak some of the things you've written or to write some of them that you want to share in the comments. The chat box. The chat box will not be shared in the recording, so it's just the visuals, just so you know. And feel free to only share those that you truly want to share. If you want to share. If you don't want to share, that's okay as well. For everybody in the recording, same thing. Put in the comments. Let us know what you would gift yourself with if you'd be your ideal partner and lover. All right, mine. Oh, yes. HJ, you raised your hand. Feel free to unmute yourself.
So yeah, so a couple of things which I, wrote for myself is basically love, time, and attention. That's one thing which I wrote. Like if I were my ideal partner, I've given myself to love, time, and attention, and be a pillar for me to lean on, and be understanding, and have trust, and have faith in myself. Then if I'm honest with myself, and then and of course wrote several things, but then these are the basic parts, and support myself to things, and find ways to cheer me up, and guide me through with decisions, and plan future with myself, and cook a delicious vegan food for myself, and walk in nature with myself. So yeah, these are some of those things that I wrote.
I love them. I love them. And you notice that in the beginning you had time, care, and attention, and then all of a sudden you started zooming in and you spoke these things in terms of how does that look like? Cook a delicious meal for myself, guide myself through challenging decisions, be my own pillar, be my own backbone, right? So you've became more specific.
Yeah,
And
because so when I initially said like long time and attention, but he gave me 5 minutes. I mean, ideally I would have stopped right there. Then I started to think beyond, because I need to write a bit more. And then like I started to become more specific. I went into details, and it was quite an exercise to do. It made me understand like what exactly I would gift myself if I were to do so. It also made me a reflection of what I would do for someone else. Then it's the same thing which I would want for myself as well. So that's what I try to think, and that's exactly what I wrote. And thank you.
it's perfect. It's really perfect. And you just said exactly what the journaling practice is all about. You start at some point, and then from there you deepen, because these pages allow you that space to deepen and to re-answer the answers you had before. So sometimes an answer that you have in your journal is a bit unspecific. Doggy wants to come in again. Come in then. Come back. So sometimes it's clear, but it's not specific yet. And so this has helped you to narrow that down. And these were just 5 minutes. Sometimes I have like journaling practices with my clients where we journal for 20 minutes. And then there's like really deep, good shit coming out of these journal sessions, right? So thank you so much for sharing, HJ. I've had some things as well that were quite specific, quite fast. I said I'd gift myself with more time to meditate each night, especially before I get too tired, so that I can finish my meditation practice without falling asleep. Because sometimes that happens. I meditate and then during the meditation, I fall asleep, which is okay, gifts me a good night's rest. But that's something I'd gift myself with. I'd gift myself with more joy in my own business and only doing what fully lights me up. That's actually what I'm doing in this 6th masterclass series here, is like I only do what fully lights me up. And that's why we're here doing this practice now together, right? I'd give myself with more money to buy things to serve this world, to pay a vet to get all of these street dogs treated. That's something that like is a big thing here on Bali. And I'm like, I just want to pay for all those dogs to get them treated and get them healed. I'd give myself with more focus on detoxing my body again, like once or twice a week, like I used to do before, which includes enemas, which includes a day of fasting, stuff like that. Yeah. So just to give you a little more perspective on where all of this could go. And I'm really curious in like the comments of everybody who's watching the recording, what you have written down. Please share with us in the comments. So, well, that was the main content for today. HJ, I really want to thank you for tuning in into this short masterclass. Why do I call it short? Because usually the live calls that I'm hosting as a part of my Become Your Medicine program are 1.5 to 2 hours even sometimes. So they're deeper immersions. And for you, HJ, if you want to hear this, you can stick around, and everybody in the recording as well. I'm about to tell you some more details about my Become Your Medicine program, because these 6 masterclass series are ending at this moment, at this spot. And if you want to engage more and to dive deeper into the practices and even learn some new ones, we have minimalism as a module in the program. We have conscious relating and emotional release as modules in this program. So that's basically like the whole holistic universe of all the practices that you need to know if you really want to deepen your self-love, your inner balance, and level up that activism and presence of yours in this world for yourself and for other people. So stick around if you want to hear this little introduction into my program. And if not, feel free to just tune out, right? I know, HJ, you've been following me. You might see me talk about the program, and everybody who's watching the recording as well. So in order to show you properly what this program is all about, I'm going to open the landing page, the website of the program. I'm just going to walk you through everything that comes with this program. Be aware that it is a program that costs money, because if you invest in it, you have lifelong access to these group calls. So basically, you're buying yourself access to the universe of wisdom, plus to a community that gathers in weekly life group calls. It's like, it's literally the most beautiful, most exciting thing I've ever created in my whole life. And I've created a lot of things in my life, which is not a long life, but it's been a very active and engaged life. So as I'm opening my website here in presentation mode, I think you can all see this now, including you, HJ. On my website, I have on the top menu bar, Become Your Medicine program. This is what I'm opening right now. Here we go. Yeah. HJ, can you, yeah, you'll stick around. Great. You can see this, right, HJ? Give me a little hand raise symbol if you can see the website, if all of this is presenting itself. Great. Thank you so much. All right. So the Become Your Medicine group coaching program, what we're doing in there, obviously, it is becoming our own medicine. Now, this is for vegans and activists that want to level up their mental health by integrating mindfulness and self-love practices into your daily life. This program teaches you a whole universe, as I said before. Roof, doggy likes it as well. A whole universe of mental health and mindfulness practices. Plus, it grants you this lifelong access to weekly life group calls. This is something that I decided to do very recently, because I've realized that when I work with people, I ran this program a couple of times before, but back then it was like a 12-week program, and we had a starting point and an ending point. At every ending point, I kind of felt like, I want to keep working with these people, like they want to keep engaging with me. So they do that via social media. But I thought I want to create a solution where we just have continuous access to live calls, where we meet, where we practice what we learn, etc. And that's why I decided to make it you pay once, you access the community, and then you're part of it for however long you want to be, So as a participant, you'll get used to daily self-care routines and healthy habits, allowing you to transmute negative states of being, such as, and I'm sure you all know these feelings, sadness, fear, stress, anxiety, depression, hatred, anger, guilt, and shame, into more positive ones like joy, happiness, motivation, and courage. So we're working with an actual research. There is like a list of emotions that have been researched in the 70s and identified in a low or high frequency table. And we're working through these emotions by applying what you've learned in this 6-series masterclass, plus all of these other practices that come with the program, to really create these shifts, because every emotion that we're feeling at its core is energy. So you're learning how to access that energy and to transmute it. That's different from bypassing. Bypassing an emotion means not accepting an emotion and trying to replace it. So we're not doing that. We're really going into it, learning and understanding the emotion, releasing it, and creating space for a new emotion. That's what you're learning in this program. Now, this program is for you if you want to become better at creating impact as a vegan activist, so that you can inspire more people to become vegan without getting burned out by the anger, frustration, and sadness you're currently experiencing. The program also is for you if you're ready to make your mental health and holistic well-being a new priority, so that you can show up in the world as your most balanced, aligned, and happy self. It's also for you if you wish to grow your emotional intelligence, which means understanding your emotions better, right? Feeling in and your feelings and emotions. Plus, you want to master the art of transmuting negative emotions into sustainable positive ones. And this is also for you because I have taken on a couple of clients that have done therapy or counseling and that have had some great experiences, but that really didn't feel like I shifted my life. Something big changed, something sustainable changed. So this program is also for you if you feel like you've tried many things already and you're maybe already exhausted and you're thinking, oh my God, there's nothing else I can do to really heal myself, to become my medicine. Then this will show you all the possibilities that there are. And in the program, you'll see in a minute, there's 9 different modules. So if only 5 of these 9 are hitting home for you, which could be meditation, breath work, conscious relating, and journaling, and the other ones aren't, you're still going to have these sustainable shifts in your life. Okay. So that's why it's a whole holistic container, a whole universe of practices that you'll learn. So what you receive as a participant in this program, it's coming with 4 different components. Okay. So the first one, as you can see here on the left, is lifelong access to the weekly group calls. I already announced that. The second component is these pre-recorded video modules. So currently there's 25 plus short video lessons. I'm always creating more depending on what questions are asked, right? So this program, it's not just like, bam, here you get it. It's an evolving program. It evolves as you evolve in it. So if at some point there is like, you're going through, let's say, the module journaling, and you figure out, oh, there's something that's missing for me, I still have a question, then you ask that question and I'll respond by creating an extra video lesson based on what's lacking for you, and I add that to the program. So basically you become a co-creator in this program, and you'll be served in the moment when you notice, oh, I'm lacking this and that. This is really cool. So the third component is integration practices. As you can see here on the left, next to the live group calls and the pre-recorded modules, you're getting equipped with a complete set of digital files, which are professional audio recordings of meditations, breathwork, movement mixtapes, and also some info PDFs in there. I'm not a big fan of PDFs, so there aren't many. There are more audio files that I recorded in a studio, which guide you through breathwork or meditation practice, and you can download them to your smartphone. I have them linked on Mixcloud, which is a free streaming services similar to SoundCloud. So you'll access all of these integration practices. And the fourth thing, as you can see here, is lifelong community access. The community takes place inside of a private Facebook group, not the group that you're in right now. The Vegan Mental Health and Mindfulness Academy is a different group. It's a free academy. The program group is another group. So inside of the program group, you're accessing all these video lessons, all of these modules, but it's also serving us as a community since you can comment and interact inside of that group, right? So these are the 4 things that come with the program. How much does the program cost? Because we all live in different financial environments, I wrote here, I've created 2 payment plans for you. So the program itself costs $2,400 US, and you can pay it all at once if you have these financial resources. I know many of us don't have them because vegans are often, giving and giving and giving. I know that from myself. You can also split this payment into a 6 monthly installments of $425 US, which is more accessible for many of us. Now, a lot of people come to me and they're like, oh, it's still expensive. And I'm like, is it really though? Like, what you're getting out of this? Like, I often tell the people that think this is an expensive investment, I tell them how much money I've invested into my own growth to be able to put this together. And it's 5 figures. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of time and a lot of money. So everything that I've learned and essentialized in this program has cost me probably more than 6 times what you can buy it for, right? And it's well presented because I'm cute as a presenter, am I? So this is what's happening. The payments are managed via wise.com. So I have an Indonesian bank account and you can do the transfers via wise.com, which has a very low fees rate, which is amazing. I used to use PayPal, but PayPal has very high fees. I don't dig it anymore. So we're using wise.com for that. Great platform. The live group calls are ongoing. As said, they are weekly ongoing. And I even created 2 options for y'all because I know that time zones can be a challenge. I've created an option 1, which is for people in the United States and in and around Asia, which are on Wednesdays, 7 p.m. PST. And the second option is for people in Europe and in and around Asia, which are on Thursday mornings in European time zones. I've left a link here to translate that into your own time zone because I know that that's always a question I'm getting and I don't have the time zones in my mind. Like there's a website for it that helps you translate it. So you can click that link on my website to translate that to your time zone. But it should be possible for you to join option 1 or option 2 in your own time zone, right? So what else is there? Oh yeah, there's some testimonials. I've recorded some highlight videos. I've interviewed Mackenzie Severance, who is a vegan politician and who has participated in the program. She gave a great testimonial. Roger Smith, a friend from Switzerland, has joined. He gave a great testimonial. Some written testimonials from Mackenzie, for example. She said, we initially engaged on social media and I was just feeling drawn to your passionate and charismatic personality. Back then, I struggled with motivation, and I knew I needed to respark my passion and motivation as an animal rights activist. That's what made me join your program. Yeah, so that's what she said. There's some other great ones that I'm not going to read out right now. Yeah, so that's everything that you're getting from this program as a participant. And if you want in, the first thing that I do is I hop on a free clarity call with everybody. So before being like, yeah, here, give me the payment details I want in, I want to talk to you personally, get to know you a little bit personally, because I'll be seeing you every week. And if you're an asshole, I won't invite you into program, because believe me, it has happened that I accepted clients that in the end would just destroy the space with their own frustration or energy. And that wouldn't work. It's a sacred space. We're working on inner healing and you got to be okay and open for that. So in order to figure that out, I offer free clarity calls. I'll link the link to my clarity call booking page in the description of this video. It's also linked on my website. As you've seen, there's all these buttons everywhere which say schedule a free call to apply. So just schedule one and we'll get to talk about it. And if you want to become a participant in this program and you match the energetic requirements, then you'll be warmly welcomed to be a part of this community. Yeah. yeah, that's everything I wanted to share with you and to bring closure to this beautiful 3-day event. It's truly been a blast for me. Like every morning at 10 a.m. over the past 3 days, I've been hosting a class, and then every evening at 7 p.m. And I am just in love with gifting my own community with just that, regardless if somebody shows up for the group coaching program, regardless if you intend to invest in that for yourself and to join it. I just love serving my own community because I know that when you're getting into that elevated state, it's not only that you that feels better, because I know that you as a vegan are going out there and you're being active for our collective bigger cause, which is saving more animals and making life better for them as well. Right. So in my name, thank you all so much for making it through all of these recordings. HJ, thank you for joining into our live call today. Bless you for that. And I hope to speak to some of you inside of a clarity call soon if you want to join the program and meet you there. And if not, just feel free to stick around in my free Facebook group, stick around on my YouTube channel, stick around on my Facebook profile. You're welcome there, AJ says, my pleasure. Thank you too. Yeah. Blessings to you, HJ. I'll be in touch with you because I want to know how your trip to that sanctuary goes. I'll send you a message on Facebook later. Bless you. Let's stop the recording for now. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Much love.